welcome back to another episode of Let's Get Spooky. I'm Leanna Vamp.
And I'm Ashley.
And on today's episode, we are talking about obsessions, compulsions,
weird habits,
disorders, just all sort of weird, spooky
and actually
things.
Viral obsessions too.
Yes, weird things on the internet. I think the first thing that we should probably start off with is OCD, because we both kind of have it to a certain degree, but we were talking about it before, and my definition, or what I think OCD is very different than what it actually is.
Yeah, and I think it's been very mainstreamed into society for people to say like, hey, I have OCD because I really like organizing or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's a very debilitating disorder. And I was recently watching a TED Talk, and it was about a mother who had a child who had these insane fears of, or disorientations of thinking that when she drove, she'd always hit someone. So she'd have to go back and see where the bodies were. And she wouldn't feel okay until she knew that she didn't hit anyone. And that's like the extreme of it, where we as a society today, we say, oh, like I'm OCD about like having my food not touch or something. Like it's actually not like that at all.
Yeah.
The disorder is such a severe thing that I think we actually like misuse the term.
Right.
So for me, I have weird traits all the time where I'm like, I'm obsessed with this and that, but it's like
it's not an obsessive compulsive disorder. It's like a quirk. What were we saying? Like a quirk,
a quirky habit,
right?
Yeah, because I think we all have things that irk us as humans, and I think we all also like to sometimes feel sympathy for it in a sense. And I think that social media has portrayed it as something where we can, get people to think that we're a little bit crazy and it's validated, but it's actually like a debilitating mental disease.
And I guess my definition in my mind was more of like the compulsion part of it. Like we talked about this before, and you even said it when you're explaining it. The term that people use is, I'm OCD about this.
Yeah.
And that's not really the proper, like people that actually have OCD is a very severe disorder. Like mine are counting things, locking the door. As you guys know, I do it in numbers, like groups of 6.
And that's a compulsion.
So that's
a big difference. And compulsion actually falls under OCD. And like for me, I have weird traits too that I do. Like I have to check. Like I do the whole like, is my keys in my pants or my
jiggle
purse?
It around.
Like I do that. Like I'm obsessed with making sure that my hair straightener's off, but I won't go back multiple times. And that's the difference where like it's a compulsion, or like maybe it's a mental habit to feel secure. It's an anxiety reducer.
Right. But it's different because mine with locking the door, I do it 6 times. I jiggle the handle, I lock it, I jiggle the handle. I'm the same thing with the straightener because I have a fear. My parents instilled that in me. It was like, make sure you unplug it. You're going to burn down the house.
Yeah.
So I check for the straightener, the curling iron, the stove, which is more of a recent thing.
I do that too because I have a gas one and it's flame.
Yeah.
And I can't.
But mine aren't. I guess what differentiates it is it's not where I can't go on if I don't do it. Like if I weren't to check the door 6 times and say I only did it 3 and I had to go, my day isn't going to be ruined by that. Yeah. I may be a little irritated, but it's not debilitating.
And that's the difference I think right now is that OCD is something that reduces our anxiety, but the anxiety is instilled in fear, and it makes us anxious. Sometimes there's a difference between that and someone who is obsessed with organizing things, but the world doesn't end to them mentally if it's not like that.
Yeah.
But it actually soothes them, and I think that's kind of in relation to how so many things right now that are viral are obsession based because it relieves you.
Yeah.
And that's the fine line that we're like now trying to figure out the middle ground.
Yeah, I think when people definitely misuse the term OCD. It's, if you actually look up like the clinical term OCD, it's not what we think it is. But it's something that people can relate over. And, I can say, oh, I'm OCD about locking the door. And you can say, oh, me too. And we have that in common. And it's something to talk about. But it's not, I've seen shows where people have it to the extent where if they didn't lock the door 3 times, like that's it. Their day is done.
Yeah.
Like everything is over.
Yep.
And it's so crazy to think that something in our minds that is so simple could affect someone so drastically.
Yeah.
And that gets into like certain disorders and stuff like that, which we can get to later. But I think one thing to touch upon is the internet stuff, like the viral.
Which is really fascinating to me. And I know like you have some stuff and I have some stuff, but I fucking hate Facebook, first of all, but there was a moment in time where the little food craze was going on, and it was like cute, but people were really addicted to it. They were like, this makes me feel fucking great inside, and they became obsessed.
I'm sure they actually are still a thing. There was actual like channels, like studios that, because that trend became so crazy, that they stopped doing their other content to make tiny things. And I am so guilty because I would watch those things, and in my mind all I imagined was like, this is like a group of little rats, and this is them cooking, but it was real people's hands, and I couldn't understand like why it was
hands though, because my hands are fat as fuck, and I would watch those and I would get anxious. It was the opposite, because I'm like, my big hands cannot handle that little butter.
How do you
slice.
hold that little spoon?
Nope. Cannot.
Do you see these nails? I can't even put my earrings in.
Potato hands? No bueno.
We would not have a good little food cooking channel.
No, we could try,
but what is it about those weird trends that we are fascinated by?
It's the term oddly satisfying, which is also a term that we see on Instagram, where you see those videos where people are putting their hands in Play-Doh.
Or slime.
They're slicing things. Like, it's
I get sucked into those sometimes, and I don't understand, because I could give a shit less about Play-Doh and cutting it with a knife, but I'll sit there and watch someone like do it multiple times.
Because at the end of the day, everything's a mental state. Like, when you think of OCD, it's not the actual act of like going like this and locking a door or whatever. It's a mental state to relieve some sort of stress in your mind. And like anything that's oddly satisfying, you may not be stressed, but it soothes you to the point where you're like, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
And it's just different degrees.
There was one where it was the sand, like the colored sand, and someone had one of the a potato masher, and all they were, I don't know why. Well, I probably watched it like 10 times. They would roll it up into a ball, and they'd get the potato masher and mash it. But you watch, and they do it. It's like ASMR. Yeah. They do it really slow, and it's like soothing. It's weird. It's so weird, because I never thought I would be one of those people.
I watched someone literally slice a bar of soap, but there was all these divvies in it.
The chunks.
And I was like, oh, these chunks are so nice.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing, like for us, why this topic is interesting to us is because things like OCD, we misuse the term, but that is actually really scary and very spooky for it to be debilitating for certain people. It's like agoraphobia, where people are so afraid to leave your house, right? It's agoraphobia?
No, I don't think so.
Isn't agoraphobia where you don't want to? I think that's what it is.
I'm holding in a sneeze right now. I was like, I feel it.
Does that actually work when you put your finger
in
in your nose?
Keep going.
But with all of like these disorders and compulsions, and for people that are affected by that is terrifying.
It's kind of like a different possession in a sense.
It's
a mental possession.
Yeah, your mind is possessed by something that you can't control. And the weird thing is like it's all types of people that are that have these things. People from all like ages, genders,
different
races.
degrees of it too.
Yeah.
Like I've dealt personally, and I like won't go into detail, but like I grew up with a lot of OCD tendencies, and it was like it became something where you knew people's triggers because of it, and it became like unlivable. And it was like different things where it became counting and like textures.
What would you say would trigger?
Anything that, like for me growing up, it was like if it didn't work schedule wise, number wise, time wise, it would be like a disruptive.
Essentially ruining like a wrench in the machine. So
it was
your routine
all numbers.
Is off.
You know what? It was weird. It was all coming down to numbers all the time, and that was super weird to me, because it was like timing, it was placement, it was like weight, it was all of these things, and it became this obsessive like numerical mind state. And that's what I dealt with. And it's like, for everyone, it's different. And it's a different form of counting, I guess.
Yeah.
Where you're possessed by numbers that don't actually exist, but they control you.
Or mean anything. Like for me, when I think I said this in one of our previous podcasts, our previous shows, I will count, but it's usually, I count to 6 because I'm doing things in multiples of 6. But a lot of the times I'm counting numbers in my head that are arbitrary. It means nothing. I'm like, why am I on 67?
Yeah.
Why, how long have I been counting? And it's one of those things where it kind of checks you, because you're on autopilot in life. And I'm like, what made me start counting? Why am I counting? What just triggered in my mind for me to realize that I'm counting? And why is it now that I can stop?
Which I've never done.
It's
like
so weird.
but I know so many people do, and like I think it's a soother.
Yeah, I
It's
guess.
a mental soother.
Why? I don't know. I wish that when I talk about it, I try to think, hey, in the future, I'm going to try to remember when I start, or like try to make my mind flip that switch so I understand why I'm doing it. But when you're on autopilot, that doesn't
But
happen.
see, that stuff is not necessarily harmful to your body.
No.
But then there are cases which, if you've ever seen, I think it's a TLC show, and it's like My Strange Addiction.
Strange Addiction, yeah.
And I was dipping into it a little bit for a
Yeah.
hot minute, and then I dipped out, but I dipped back in recently. And there's so many things that are not OCD related, but they're obsessive compulsions that are directly harmful to your health extremely. When you read it, it's like woman eats 8 mattresses, woman drinks gasoline. Like, it's like all these things where you're like, that could fucking kill you. And you're like, why?
Why?
But you listen to their stories, and it's this stress reliever for
Yeah.
them. And you don't know, like, how do you
even start chewing on a mattress?
So for that girl in particular, she was saying that she was sitting in her, I guess her mother's or grandmother's car, and the seat was kind of like, it was open, and she could
where
see
the
the foam.
stuffing is
She just
coming
took
up?
it out and started eating it, and that's where it started. And it like, she liked the texture. It made her feel good. And she's
like, this is my new
that's her stress
dietary
reliever.
tasty treat.
Yeah.
So there was, it wasn't My Strange Addiction, but it was some sort of like Dr. Phil or one of those shows where it's random topics. Every episode is different. And there was a woman on there, and her addiction was Comet. You know, the cleanser, the powder Comet. And she would eat, maybe it was Ajax or Comet, but basically the same thing. She would have to eat a spoon of it a day.
Yeah, there was a woman who drank paint. There was so many weird substances. There was a woman who drank her own urine. Like, it's just all these things that you're like, in your head, that's the last thing I want to put in my mouth.
Right. It's a toxic chemical.
Yeah.
Well, your pee is not a toxic chemical, but
there was one lady who, and it's not to dog these people because we're all trying to find things that relieve our stress because it's a fucking stressful life.
Yeah.
But there was a woman who is obsessed with like putting Vaseline on her tongue, or not Vaseline. It's Vapes Vapor Rub.
Keep going. Nope, that's not right.
What's it called?
Keep going.
Vicks Vapor
Vicks
Rub.
Vapor Rub. There.
But anyways, she put that substance on her tongue. She'd put it in her coffee and her tea bags because it's like
a numbing.
She liked the numbness and the coldness, and it was like, yeah, that does not sound kosher.
No,
but
you probably shouldn't eat. That's got to be harsh on the intestines. Yep. And I think the craziest thing and the scariest thing is, what is the trigger for me to pick up this sage and say, I'm going to try to eat it?
Yeah.
Like, what in your mind is
extreme stress, I think.
Yeah, but I feel like everybody's brain works differently, but under extreme stress, my initial reaction is to like not eat something toxic.
Well, I think there's certain things. Yeah, like if I was scared in a situation and I was in a basement and I saw a can of gasoline, I probably wouldn't drink it.
Right.
I do think that certain people are programmed to respond to things differently.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, depending on the severity of the stress, you just kind of...
Yeah, I guess to each their own.
You become literally obsessed with things that are not what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for me, and I didn't even realize this until a few years ago, but, like, when I was younger, I would always, because of, like, shit was weird, but I would, like, go to sleep and I'd cover my face with a blanket. Like, I'd have, like, this thing. And I always did that. And, like, I didn't realize that I had the same blanket from the age of 17 up until, like, a year ago that I have kept. And, like, when shit gets hard, I don't even notice I do it.
Comfort.
But I will, like, wrap my head like a mummy. And it's...
And what is, how does that make you feel when you do that?
I feel safe, but it's like, it's not weird because it's like I'm covered in blankets anyways, and it's just an extra layer. But I was like, that was a coping mechanism for the bad shit that I was going through before. And I think for people who have weird scenarios where they become addicted to a substance, it's in the environment that causes them the most stress, and they gravitate towards whatever is close.
Right. I mean, that's funny that you say about the blanket. When I was a kid, I had my blankie, and that was my comfort, and I had it forever. When my mom would wash it, I would cry.
Me too.
I would
Fucking
literally
hate
cry,
it.
and I would sit on the washing machine until it was done being washed, and then I'd watch her take it out and like help her put it in the dryer, and I'm still crying, and then I would sit on the dry. It was like a freaking
Yeah.
2-hour fucking
Yeah.
process because I couldn't be away from my blankie that was behind this door.
Yeah.
But the thing is, as we get older, when I went to first grade, my mom told me, okay, you have to leave your blankie at home. And I was like, nah, absolutely. I didn't
wasn't
say
that
that,
bad.
but absolutely not. And she like told me and taught me that, if you take it to school, the kids are probably going to make fun of you. And she tried to teach me in a way that wasn't like a bad way, but tried to teach me like, you don't need this anymore. You're a big girl.
Yeah.
But that was something that I was taught. Maybe if she didn't tell me, I would still have that blankie.
But that's what adults deal with. Where
Yeah.
like they become obsessed with things. Like, and it's like, I think it's called, I have it in my notes, it's like objectophilia or something like that, where
Oh, it's an object.
you actually become, objectophilia. You are like in a relationship with an object. You are like, like there was a guy and he was in a relationship with his car. And it was like he would look at his car and be like, yes, we are in a committed relationship. And he would do all of the things, like buy it gifts and do all the things and make
He
it
did
feel-
all of the things,
all of the
right?
things.
All of
Yep,
the things.
all the things.
The things
And-
that you're thinking he did with that car.
Yeah, and it's just kind of, to anyone looking from the outside in, you'd be like, that's fucked up.
You're crazy.
But
yeah.
there might have been something that triggered him where he, as a child, could have not been loved. And maybe, like, he was building model cars when he was little and he became obsessed with that. And, like, then it makes sense. But it's just, like, at what point does the obsessiveness take you away from reality?
Yeah. And for us to sit here on this couch, we can sit and talk about it and take an outside perspective because it's not affecting us. And it's easier for us to be like, how could you think that? How could you do that? How could you feel that? But for someone that's in it, you have to be in a state or have people around you that are in a good mental state to help you.
Yeah.
Because if you're in it, you can't take a step
The
back and see
intervention
the
is the
problem.
hardest part.
Yeah.
And, like, there's so many things that people are obsessed about. And I think when I was going down the binge hole
The
of
rabbit
My
hole
Strange
of
Addiction,
research.
it goes down to like literally like body dysmorphia, where there was a girl who like had like 40 laxatives at a time and went through 6 packs a day because she had body dysmorphia. And it's like, those are the people who need the interventions to an extreme where their health is compromised.
And you're hoping that they have
And
someone around them that can see it.
Their parents are getting, interviewed for the show, being like, yeah, like, we know she has a problem. It's like, well, do something.
We'll
But
help
it's a
her.
delicate subject.
Right.
When someone's eating foam from a mattress, it's like, what kind of intervention are you going to do? Stop eating foam? Like,
Yeah.
Like,
You need a doctor.
Like,
you need a professional.
professional help. Yeah.
To kind of circle back, because I know we started talking about, and I know that this one grosses you out, of the internet things. And one thing that people are fascinated with, and you're already cringing because you know what I'm going to say, is the pimple popping, like Dr. Pimple Popper. They
it.
actually there's a show now for it.
Fucking
But it all started with internet videos, like YouTube videos.
She had her Instagram account, and that's what made her popular.
And I actually I've seen like little clips of the show, but I don't watch the show.
I don't either.
I was talking about this earlier, and she was like,
You know what I did though, which sucked? So from market research standpoint, on Instagram, when you start looking at stuff, like I look at a lot of memes. So when I look at my Discover page, it's all memes now.
Yep.
But I was looking at pimple popping videos to do research. And my entire Discover
It's
page became
all-
back pimples.
you need
And
to
I was
start
like,
looking up like kittens and
yeah.
puppies.
I was like, abort mission, please.
You
This
gotta
is
like
not what I
circle
signed
back
up
'cause
for.
it won't go away.
No.
So for me, I'm like on the fence because I don't necessarily I don't want to watch that show because like I'll like pop Cameron's pimples and like I'm like a monkey and I like pick, and I'll pop my own pimples, but to watch someone do it to someone else that's
It's
like a
not
stranger,
oddly satisfying.
no, and I don't.
They're not normal pimples though. Let's get this clear.
Well, it depends. It depends.
They're like, Bill has had this on his face for 6 years and it's growing the size of a grapefruit. You
And
might want to
get that looked at.
Might want to get that looked at. And then she's like, oh my, I'd love to do that incision. And then it goes, that's no normal pimple.
So if something gets to the point where it's like the size of this little guy right here, you
might want to get that checked
you
out.
probably should get that checked out, but you let that go for a really long time.
Yeah.
Like, handle your shit.
You, sir, if you got slapped in the face, you would pus all over the place. That sounds like a rap song.
That does sound like a rap. I think we have something.
Ooh. Drop a
But
beat.
if that happens to you, like, people aren't realizing that's not a pimple anymore. That's like a lesion that has to be cut open. You're going to need stitches. And there's...
It's a lot because some people don't have healthcare and I feel bad and I'm just like, ooh, but like I would... Oh, like once it gets to half that size, get the fuck out.
Well, we kind of talked about this when we were talking about, oh my God, what was it? The viruses and like bot flies.
Yeah.
And remember I tried to show you the girl in their head?
I can't. I literally can't. And I don't think I have full on tryptophobia, but
the holes,
I don't like holes in the skin. Like that pisses me off.
I mean, it's not.
Get out of there. Put a Band-Aid.
You shouldn't have it. If you have holes in your skin or like boils and stuff, it's not like a normal thing. It's not a thing that people should be really excited to watch. And I think that's what's strange is and scary is people want to subscribe to that. They want to see her pop or want to see someone pop. I think it's because
it's like this weird, and like I only know this because because as you know for sure, I'm like on Instagram, once you hit a certain number of people start like bugging you and they'll ask for weird shit. And there's a lot of fetishes out there that are super weird where they're like, ooh, I like feet. And they're I love open sores. And you're like, what the fuck?
What?
And there's like weird ass fetishes out there where I think there's a large demographic of people who feel kind of gross all the time. And maybe it's because like they have pimples and acne that they're like, you know what? Other people have it way worse, so I want to see how bad they have it. I don't know.
The weird thing is sometimes, so what's really gross is I remember seeing, and it was the whole discovery thing, like liking, or not liking stuff, but looking at stuff on Instagram. It takes one. You just got to click on one.
Click one.
And then they just pop up. And I'm
itchy again.
I know, right? I'm like, shower. There was a woman, and so gross. She made cupcakes that looked like pimples.
I saw that.
And you would it was like
there's
raspberry.
a child's game now. Did you know that?
No.
So I went out, and he's probably listening to this podcast because I told him to listen to this podcast. So I'm sorry, Ryan. But he was saying, because we went out for drinks, and his wife was talking about how this game for children about pimple popping. And I was like, that's bullshit. So then she pulled it up on her phone. And it's like this human face, and you like push the skin in and it flies out. But it's for children. It's for like 11-year-olds.
I mean, I don't know. So I have a little bit of monkey in me, like what are animals, if they have stuff on them, I'll like pick it off.
I am not a monkey. I'm a walrus. I'm a smooth motherfucker.
Part monkey. But the thing is, it's within my world. So if like my cat has something on it, I'm going to help you out because you can't take care of it. I'm going to take care of it. If my husband has something, I'm going to take care of it. But it's a stranger, or to watch a stranger do it to someone else. We were watching, it was the news or a show, I don't know what it was. And it was a mountain lion, and it had this like lesion in its mouth, and the doctor is cutting it open, and I was eating breakfast when the TV was on. So like normally I'd probably watch it, still cringe a little bit, but I would watch it. And the fact that I was like eating eggs as this like yellow pus is coming out of the mouth. I was like,
shout out to doctors who deal with this shit every day. Right? Because I'm not doing it.
I mean, no, if a stranger came in and was like, there's this thing on my back. What is it? Oh my God. Land of the Lost, where Will Ferrell, have you seen that? Where he gets the bug bite on his back and he's like, what is it? And it's like this giant back pussy zit. But the crazy thing is that there's so many people that share the fascination that there's people that have YouTube channels dedicated to pimple popping and weird skin things or extractions is what they call it.
I know people who are obsessed with popping other people's pimples, and I didn't realize it until I maybe had one on my face and I was out at a nice establishment and they would come in with the scissor fingers and I'm like, you know what? This little guy grew by itself. He's very small. He's non-existent.
Get your scissor fingers out of here.
Fuck yourself. And since then, I'm like, I'm going to make sure my skin is clean as shit because I don't want anyone coming at me with their dirty fingers.
Well, I think that, so in the facial and like skincare, they call them extractions, which that's basically what it is. They're extracting things from your face. But it's basically just a fancy term for I'm going to pop your zits. Mm-hmm. And I guess it needs to be done for certain skin things that have to get out. But it's just one of those things that some people, you can bring up that conversation and they're like, hell yeah. I mean, I have a friend that loves it. She has it
I do too.
on her phone and she's constantly like, watch this one and like putting it in your face.
It's at the most relaxed states that I find people looking at pimple popping videos. I'm like, could you fucking not?
Can you get that out of here? And
Can we talk about like, I don't know, politics or like human evolution or some fucking amphibians?
And not pus?
Yeah, not pus.
Human pus.
Let's talk about some squirrels.
Well, okay, so let's move on from human pus and talk about some disorders because you okay?
I just took that shot wrong. Keep going.
We were looking up like obsessions and compulsions, and I came across a list of, I think it was like the 10 most, your eyes watering, you need a tissue.
Keep going.
10 most horrifying disorders. And some of them were like normal things that we know, like OCD. Another one, hoarding,
Yes.
which we kind of were talking about it before, but that is like a crazy.
And there's obsession within collecting certain things. There was like guys who would obsessively collect toilet seats, used paper plates, all these things. And shit that like you're like, why the fuck would you ever? And they become obsessed with it.
Well, there's a difference between like there's people that collect things and then there's a hoarder.
Yeah.
Because you can be a collector of shot glasses and just have a crazy amount of shot glasses, but it doesn't necessarily make you a hoarder.
No, because you may take a crazy amount of shots, and that's respectable.
And you need a lot of shot glasses.
But I feel like if you have a house full of toilet seats, you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Because you fill one toilet and 20,000 seats.
So this, I actually have the definition. So it says that it's characterized by the overwhelming desire to collect seemingly random items to which an emotional attachment is then formed. So it's not necessarily like I love mugs, I'm going to collect a lot of mugs. It's things that
I like a lot of shit.
Right. It's things that like there was one show and it was My Strange Addiction and she had like pizza boxes, newspapers and magazines. And you walked through her house and it was just piles. Like piles of pizza boxes. Some still had pizza in them. Some were empty. Piles of magazines, piles of newspapers.
Which isn't healthy.
No, it was dirty. There was rats. It was infested because you're keeping garbage in your home. But it got to the point where she couldn't even walk through her house because there was so much stuff. The camera crew couldn't even get in there. They
that's
had to
every
move stuff
Hoarders
around.
episode.
It is crazy.
But you think about the people who are in those situations and there's something lacking. There's like a thing that they have lost. And
that's how they're
you listen to
dealing.
a lot of their stories. It's like, I lost my wife. I lost my job. This house is my soul. So I'm going to fill it with everything I can.
Keep everything.
And so that's where it gets really fucking hard because you're like, yeah, I want to rip them apart because they're crazy and they keep all this stuff. But like, this is their life.
And there's a lot of times when I hear these stories and I think to myself, I just want to jump in that person's brain for like a couple minutes, like just so I can see what it is that their thought process is and how they justify it. Like, what are you saying to yourself is the reason why you need to keep every pizza box? And in a case like that is like, you have to order a lot of pizza to have that many pizza boxes.
Yeah. But the thing is too, like I remember watching this episode, it was like years ago when it first became popular, but there was this girl and she like had an obsession with like creepy dolls, but it was like to an extreme that was crazy, but like she had no friends and she never had friends. So she would live in that place and be like, these are my friends.
Those are her friends.
And so to an extent, I think like people who find, comfort in objects, it's not like they're their friends, but it's like, this is their sanctum of
it gives them relief and comfort.
Yeah.
Like, and I get that. And everything is normal until it is not normal.
Yeah, and then it gets crazy and you're like, you know what, this is not actually healthy.
Right. And how do you determine if it's healthy? If you are in your own bubble, it's normal for you. Unless someone comes in and is like, holy shit, what is going on?
Because I think most people in those situations want to be better. They want to be in a good place. They want to go out and like meet people and like interact, but they can't. They get to a point that's so extreme, they cannot find the way out. So that it's like when you get stuck in a corporate job and like you run home and you hide in your routine. And then you run home and you're like, I'm in my little cave and like this is where I'm gonna hide.
This is my safety zone.
It's a cave into an extreme.
Right.
Where you're like, this is like my chasm of sanctity.
Of safety.
Yeah.
Everyone else stay out.
Yeah.
So I looked up a couple other ones. This is like kind of the best of that top 10 list. And one of them is called alien hand syndrome. And we've kind of seen it in like TV shows and like Idle Hands where it's an actual syndrome. It's very rare, but So what happens is for the disorder, you experience a complete loss of control of a hand or limb to the extent where people will like strangle other people, rip off clothes, hurt people, scratch, and they have no control over that limb.
What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. And
Now
it's an
why my
actual
pinky
thing.
nail flew off? I have
Your
no
pinky-
control.
You have no control over that. Actually, both pinky nails flew off. But those are the kind of things that you hear about and you're like, oh, that came from a movie. That's not a real thing, but it's an actual real disorder in a medical book that people have reported having. And these things that are these crazy disorders that we don't think are, when they say rare, even if it's rare, it still means that
It
a lot of
exists.
people had to have it. It's not like rare in the sense of the world and in the sense of billions of people, but there's still there has to be more than one reported case for it to actually be a
That's
thing.
terrifying.
There's another one called bonethropia, and it says those who suffer from this, it's very rare but very scary. It's a mental disorder. These people with bonethropia believe that they are cows.
What?
Often seen going as far as behaving as cows, even found in fields, walking on all fours, chewing on grass, as if they were a member of the herd.
Wait a minute though. As I was also going down the hole of my strange addiction, there are certain things, and there's people who do like, what's it called? Play.
Foreplay?
Not foreplay. It's like role play.
Role play.
You can tell how much experience I have. I am not a naughty nurse. But
I was like, where are you going with this?
no, but there are people who, there's like horseplay, and there's people who dress up as horses, and
So it's probably
it's probably
horsethropia.
it's probably a different level of that, because they don't go out to fields and
Oh.
fuck with grass, but they do
it's-
wear the thing in their mouth, and they
So
like,
is it more of like a sexual thing?
yeah, kind of, yeah, like they get turned on by it.
Okay.
But
I don't think the cow people get turned on by it. I think they really
I
believe
think
that they're a cow.
they want to get milked.
And then there's the lycanthropia, which is basically the same thing, but they think that they're a wolf and they're like a werewolf that they can.
I feel like I know
transform.
people like that.
But here's the thing. So there's people that are like, I'm a vampire, I'm a werewolf, I'm a this.
Yeah.
But these people are clinically diagnosed because they actually believe that that's a thing. They actually believe that they're a cow. They actually believe that they're a werewolf.
Well, fuck.
Yeah. So crazy, right? Very rare, but it actually still happens. And then there's one that I looked up and it was called Kluver-Bucy syndrome, butchering all of these names. Kluver-Bucy syndrome.
Kluver-Bucy.
And it's basically the same thing as you're talking about the car, but it's a scary mental disorder characterized by memory loss, the desire to eat inedible objects, and sexual attraction to inanimate objects such as automobiles. So, like being attracted or falling in love with an inanimate object like this cup or that globe or that
Fucking
crystal
love
ball.
these candles.
But to the extent where you believe that thing
Yeah.
can accept your love, and I don't know if they
Nothing
believe
can accept my love. That's what I've learned.
too much love.
Get out of here. No.
What else? Cotard delusion, whereas people that believe that they are a ghost or that their body is decaying, they believe that they're a zombie. And people have actually...
Like half the people at Monster Palooza.
But these people could actually... There's been reports of people actually dying because they die from malnutrition. Because they believe that their body's decaying, so they're not... They're not, like, eating normally.
That's a plot twist.
Right.
Are there maggots involved?
I hope not. But the thing is...
I wonder if they shower.
It's like what you were saying about the girl with the believing that she hit someone with a car. It's... If you look at yourself in the mirror... You're not decaying, but your mind is telling you that you are.
Yeah, it's literal body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Which is an actual mental illness.
And then I have hoarding, which we already talked about. Strange addictions, creepy addictions. I guess you could kind of categorize serial killers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I looked a couple up that are international ones, and there was a guy. His name was Andre Chikatilo. And he
Sounds
was
like a killer.
He's Russian. So between 1978 and 1990, he sexually assaulted and murdered and mutilated more than 50 young women and children. One of the youngest was 9 years old. The deranged Chikatilo, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I don't think it matters.
Chikatilo
killed his victims by stabbing and slashing them with a knife. Then he later admitted it was the only oh my God, I can't read. The only way that he was able
realm.
to achieve an orgasm was by murdering
That's
these.
disgusting.
So definitely an obsession to the point where, first of all, how do you find that out? How, like, do you have these thoughts and desires that say, if I do this, I will achieve pleasure?
I think it's a chemical imbalance that maybe you find.
Or do you do it and then realize that you were satisfied by it?
I don't know. Maybe he saw some roadkill and was like enticed by it. And
I
like
don't know.
he just was like, I want more. Like it was kind of like Ted Bundy where he was like, you know, he liked the idea of necromance, but he really like he was into not killing people, but he was like into the, I guess, I don't even know how you describe it because he was fucked up.
Exactly. It's like as you're talking and I'm like,
I
does
don't
it
know.
really
But
matter?
he had like an abusive, I think he had an abusive father or grandfather or something.
Yeah.
Where like it's like an inherited trait where I'm like, is it a mental chemical imbalance where you're born to be like, pleasure is violence? I don't know.
But there has to be at one point in your life, like they say, like murderers or serial killers. A lot of the times, if as children they murder animals, or there's something in your life that you don't just wake up one morning and you're like, oh, I'm going to get off by killing, then stabbing this woman.
Yeah.
Like something has to happen. I mean, Cameron just gave me a look like, maybe you do. And I'm like,
well, then you watch like Bates Motel and you're just like, well, yeah, like there's fucking psychopaths, not in real life, but sometimes.
But yeah, that's what we think, though. We think that it's just in movies and people aren't really like that. But all of that stuff comes from somewhere. But what is it, that initial thing that happens to a person that makes them, that makes this Andre guy think that this is the only way that I'm going to have an orgasm is if I murder, like
maybe
stab
because he's never had anything else.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to understand when you, like, again, you want to be able to understand someone's brain for like just a minute. Just get in there for a minute to understand, how do you justify this to yourself, and how did, like, 50 people and children? Like, come on.
That's a lot.
Then there was another German serial killer, Joachim Kroll, murdered at least 14 people, including young children, between 1955 and 1976. After strangling his victims with his bare hands, Kroll would have sex with their corpses. Then he would cut them up and eat them.
Which is not good for your health.
No.
None of that's good for your health, but like,
no.
That's how you get mad cow.
Cannibalism.
Or I guess mad human.
Mad cannibal. And children, like.
That's fucked up.
But what is wrong with people?
I guess, like, the question is like, there are certain obsessions and compulsions that you inherit through your life, but like, what are you born with that makes you inherently like addicted to certain things? And maybe it comes out later in life, maybe it doesn't. Like, I don't remember people I know now who have these insane obsessive compulsive traits being like that 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And
there's
comes
a trigger.
out,
there's something that happens in your life. There's that moment that makes those other things happen. And I think what is super interesting to me is what makes, everybody's obviously different, but from human being to human being, what is so different that there's plenty of people that grew up that were abused or had a bad childhood, and a lot of shit in their life. But not everybody is going to become a serial killer. Not everybody's going to shoot somebody. Not everybody's going to have a mental breakdown. So what is that thing that makes people snap? And that's what I find fascinating. And I don't think that's a thing that we'll ever understand, because we can't physically get into someone's brain and see it through their eyes.
That's true.
So.
Disgusting shit.
Yeah.
Speaking of disgusting shit, I think it's time for you to eat something.
So.
Because I feel like at this point, you haven't suffered enough, and I've suffered a lot.
I have not made you suffer. I have done it for the
You've given me delicacies that blow. It's time for redemption.
So we actually, before we were filming this, I was like, crap, I didn't buy any really gross things for you to eat. So we decided that we were going to go through the cabinets, and we each picked 3 items.
Yeah. But you know what? To be fair,
you can't open it yet. You can't open it yet.
I'm not going to open it. I'm just showing the fellas here.
I'll get mine out later.
Yeah, I mean, but I picked things that were also very appetizing, just so you wouldn't die, because I'm a nice person, unlike you.
But no, I'm very nice. I just like to keep you on your toes. I like, you know.
Like to eat things with legs that are crunchy. And it's bullshit.
So for this segment of Creepy Treats, we are going to up our game here, because we each have things for each other that we don't know. We went into the kitchen separately and put things in our baskets. I have get it. My pumpkin pill. But I also have blindfolds in here.
Yeah.
Because we're going to blindfold ourselves. Well, maybe we'll do one at a time.
We'll do one at a time.
And you have to eat the things in the bucket. And then you have to. And then you have to say what you think it is. Because while blindfolded, I feel like am I going first?
Yeah, you're going first. I want to make you suffer first.
Hold on, let me get my blindfold. I feel like your taste buds when you can't see are different. So this is going to be tough with the microphone. Let me put this thing down there.
I'll guide you, young Padawan. My pumpkin won't open. Fuck
okay,
my
wait,
leg.
I have to blindfold. Whoa! You're showing me already. I can't see. Cover it. What? Is this see-through? Dang it, I'm going to mess up my... Oh my God, I almost hit myself with my microphone. This is going to be the most entertaining part is watching me put a... Oh God, this hurts. Wait, I have to take my dentures out first.
Okay, well... What I'm going to do, folks, is I'm going to give her something that is not extremely painful for the first one.
Table.
Painful enough where you still have to guess and you might think it's something disgusting.
Okay. Wait.
But now that you're blindfolded, I should probably open it.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm not going to peek. I'm going to keep my eyes closed because I'm a good team player here. And I can kind of see, so I do have to keep my eyes closed. It's in a package. You made a gross sound. Did you drop it, or is it gross? I'm sweaty. I'm getting nervous. What?
Hey, guys. I'm fucking feeding her some bullshit right now.
I'm scared. Huh? What?
Put it in. Chew.
What?
Well, you can use your hand.
Oh. It tastes like a fish. A salty... Ew! It's like
plot twist. I can't read it because it's in Japanese.
Oh no! It's from the magic Japanese bucket where we don't know what anything is. It's spicy.
Oh, you know what? I think it's fish jerky.
Ew! Oops. I don't like fish.
We don't have to eat it. No, you can put it on the thing. Here,
it's like a salty paper.
Okay. Well,
it wasn't chewy at all. It tasted like paper.
Well, okay. So now
you said it was going to be delicious. Why am I licking my fingers? What did I do?
Sorry, guys. Let me.
Oh.
Okay. This is gonna be okay.
It literally tasted like a fish dipped in salt. My blindfold's gonna fall off.
What did you think it was? That?
A fish dipped in salt.
Well, this is your palate cleanser. What do you think that is? A tater tot?
It's in... Like a Cheeto Puff?
Yeah, those are really good, yeah?
Is it...
I'm not sure because it's in Japanese.
Oh. I'm not supposed to have cheese, so that wasn't good.
Oh, fuck.
But
diarrhea.
It's definitely tasty. It was better than the fish salt paper.
That was your cleanser. So.
Thanks. I'm going to have zits for a week now, but I still love you. It's okay. I'm mostly going to have to go to the hospital from salt. Too much. Cameron just said, what the fuck? That's not a good sign.
Ready?
No.
What do you think that is?
Oh. Hold on. What? Oh my God, you're going back. Well, yeah, I'm playing. It tastes like a gummy candy.
Yes.
It's very spicy.
Mm-hmm. It might be garnished with something.
It's very sour now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very chewy. Mm-hmm. And tastes like bubble gum or cotton candy.
It is, which I
is this in Japanese as well?
It's a Japanese candy covered in pepper and turmeric and salt.
Well, you just gave me everything full of fucking salt.
That was my amuse-bouche.
This just gets really good at the end, though.
Good. Mm-hmm. I'm glad.
Am I done? Can I not do this anymore?
No, it's my turn to die.
Wow, that sucks.
Oh. Okay.
It's fish paper.
It is.
Oh.
Whoops.
Can I have a napkin? Oh, wait, I think it's not very good anymore.
Well, that's what you get for fucking destroying me for 11 episodes.
That is disgusting. That's why Cameron was like, you do not want to eat that.
Okay, well. All right, mateys, here we go.
You have to tie it good, and you have to close your eyes because you can kind of see
I
through.
know.
You actually can't really see.
Bitch, I'm a team
Okay.
player. I know.
That was ew. I mean the
That's what you get.
the chili is good though.
That's what you get. Whatever that song is. Whatever.
I was like, what would you do for a Klondike bar? I don't know. Okay, let me move that. That's gross.
Wow, I feel like a pirate.
You look real cute though. Okay, let me get my
It's the nicest thing anyone said to me all week.
dentures out of here and my drink. Oh wait, I'm gonna put this down and raise it up so I can use my hands. Does that sound? Oh, that was hard with the mic. Are you okay?
Do I have my mic?
Yeah, you're good. Hold on.
Should I put it here?
This is hard. Yeah, just keep it. Just talk loud.
Okay. Hi, guys.
Okay. So I have.
I'm going to put my spit hands out.
Mine's fun. Mine's way nicer than yours.
Okay. Yay. Thanks, Mom.
Well, we're gonna start off with.
Something bad. I'm
No
not.
peeking.
I can't see shit.
Don't peek.
I can't see shit. I have my eyes closed.
I have a
can't
spoon.
even.
Nope.
No.
We're gonna do this one first. Hold on. I like how you're like licking the air.
Bitch, I can't see. I don't know when you're putting something in there.
Okay. Hold on. I have to be
go like
very
this.
careful. Yeah. Create a little dish.
No. No, wait. It's not a bug, is it?
It's not. I promise, no bugs. There's nothing that has legs. Okay, hold on. Okay. You have to open wide.
Oh, is it big? Because I have
No,
a small mouth. That's what my doctor
Open.
said.
And then tilt your head back a little bit. I snorted so loud. What do you think it is?
It's vinegar.
Yes, napkin, please, Abraham.
Wait, is that? Oh.
Here,
Well-
hold. You can't see me. I'm like, take the napkin. Here. Do you know what kind of vinegar it is?
Bitch ass vinegar.
It's apple cider vinegar, which technically is actually good for you to have a little apple cider vinegar. It's on your chin. Wipe your chin. Underneath. There you go.
Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome. But it's not good when you don't know what it is.
No, it's
But you did good.
sour. I don't like it.
Okay. This.
Was that the fun one?
No.
Okay.
We're going to finish it off with something nice because I'm a nice person.
I don't trust you.
Okay, this, I have to like carefully curate this. Hold on, do I have another? I don't have any more spoons.
I've never had
Okay.
vinegar spoon-fed into my mouth with a blindfold, but I feel like that is a fetish somewhere. Put it in my
Okay,
hand.
here's a shot glass. I'm going to put it in your hand right here. Hold it like a shot glass, like you're going to drink it. And then just pour some in your mouth. Not on more than one thing, like a couple more. Get them in there. I just spit. Oh, shit. Do you like those? What is it?
jelly beans.
No! Try again.
I don't know.
Like, what does it taste like? What does it taste like?
Jelly beans.
It's not jelly beans. Try. Think harder.
Chocolate beans.
Close. It's Skittles and M&M's mixed. I love that you were like matter of fact. You got it. You got it. Be careful when you put it down that you don't put it on the board.
It's not bad.
It's not bad? I'll try that after.
It's really good.
Okay, we need our spoon, but can I have your napkin?
Wait, what? We need a spoon?
Yeah, but I need to clean your spoon off because it's going to make the next thing not very good.
Oh, fuck my life.
Jelly beans.
You
Okay.
know what? No.
We discovered a new Jelly Belly flavor.
It's actually really good.
Is it? Mm-hmm. That's like kind of blasphemy where people think that like you go to reach for it and you think it's Skittles and it's M&M's, or you think it's M&M's and
Together,
it's Skittles.
It's cute.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, this is your final. Oh God.
My eyes are watering.
Are you crying under there?
Yeah.
It's the vinegar that did it for you.
Fuck.
Wait, while I'm preparing your thing, I'm gonna have a Skittle and an M&M.
It's actually really fucking good. I mean, it's different.
It's weird. It does taste like,
It's okay.
yeah, I wouldn't say jelly beans, but it tastes like something nice. Oh, hold on. Okay, you ready? This is your last one. Okay, open. Wide.
I don't want to.
Open for the airplane. Open. No, open.
What is that?
Wait, do that again and then just smile to the camera. Smile. Show your teeth.
What is that? That's chocolate.
It's a type. What kind of
Laxative?
Plot twist.
Nutella?
Yes. 6 says you can remove your blindfold. You smiled and you had the full on like chocolate bomb in your mouth right now. Look at you. That was fun. That was fun for me.
Hands smell like vinegar.
Yeah, the vinegar, I'm sorry, that was not. But I figured I'll start with the vinegar because then it's uphill from there.
Oh my god.
The vinegar was not a nice move. But to be fair, there wasn't a whole lot of options in the cabinet that were like,
Wow.
not ketchup or mustard or, I don't know. You want the rest of that?
No.
I'm going to put that down on the fish paper. So that will do it for this episode of Let's Get Spooky. I'm Leanna Vamp.
And I'm Ashley.
And you can watch the video of all of our episodes at the website, letsgetspooky.com. You can also download us on iTunes and listen on Spotify. So thanks for watching, Fiends, and don't forget to stay spooky. Bye.